Estonia's pro-Ukraine Prime Minister Kallas wins re-election.
Here's a summary of the article.
Tallinn, Estonia. The centre-right Reform Party of Prime Minister Kaja Kallas, one of Europe's most outspoken supporters of Ukraine, overwhelmingly won the Baltic countries' general election, while a far-right populist challenger lost seats in a vote that focused on national security and the economy. Kallas, Prime Minister since 2021, faced a challenge from the far-right populist EKRE party, which seeks to limit the Baltic nations' exposure to Russia's war in Ukraine, and blames the current government for Estonia's high inflation rate. The nationalist EKRE, which runs largely on an anti-EU and anti-immigration platform, has called for a cap on the number of refugees from Ukraine, saying Estonia can't cope with so many people. Its leader Martin Helme has also accused Kallas of undermining Estonia's own defences by donating arms to Ukraine. Political observers noted after the election that EKRE's attack on Reform Party's Ukraine policies was likely the main reason for some voters turning away from the Populist Party. The full-scale invasion of Ukraine sparked fears in Tallinn that a Russian victory could embolden Moscow to switch its attentions to other countries it controlled in Soviet times, including Baltic nations Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania, now all NATO members. Kallas has ruled out being in a government with EKRE due to ideological and policy differences, and is likely to turn to former coalition partner the Centre Party and outgoing coalition partners, the small conservative Fatherland Party and the Social Democrats, for a pact.
This post received a score of 21,000, with an upvote ratio of 96%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Greater than political observers noted after the election that EKRE's attack on Reform Party's Ukraine policies was likely the main reason for some voters turning away from the Populist Party. You love to see it.
Russia has shot itself in the foot so many times they're now short on ammo.
Imagine if they simply stayed their previous course of covert war on democracy. Propaganda is what they do best, and they have had massive success influencing politics worldwide through the manipulation of social media. Now it seems Europe is united as ever. People are more aware of the bullshit, not that it's perfect, but better. Putin made a historic blunder here. Exposed and decapitated his decaying, unprofessional army and doomed the Russian economy for the foreseeable future. I'm nervous to see how the regime will inevitably collapse.
Greater than imagine if they simply stayed their previous course of covert war on democracy. Propaganda is what they do best. That's why I was surprised they did a full invasion of Ukraine instead of slowly cutting off pieces of it slowly like with Crimea.
In my opinion, Putin panicked when Biden beat Trump and made a terrible strategic decision as a result.
Agreed. Putin already had the pieces in place and was expecting Trump to force his way into the U.S. presidency if need be, but was shut down. Putin needed Trump in place because he knew that the great orange fuck would do everything in his power to stop the sanctions, and to stop aid to Ukraine. Funny how Boris Johnson became so anti-Russian after getting ousted too. Almost like he was trying to make up for some bad decisions during office.
I was never a fan of Bojo, but he was a supporter of Ukraine from the beginning of the war. I believe he was the first head of state to visit Zelensky in Kyiv.
Let's not mince words. He is an evil cunt. But he is on the right side of history in this one affair.
This is true. Although my standards as an American have dropped so low, I would be satisfied enough with anyone who doesn't try to overthrow our democracy or support Putin.
This is a big deal. People were afraid that the populist Conservative Party might win, and it pretty much looked so before the electronic votes came in, as most of their supporters favor using traditional pen and paper voting. Everyone sighed a breath of relief as it turned out that the Reform Party won by a landslide. This completely determines Estonia's foreign policy, not to mention domestic.
No one realistically thought EKRE would have it in the bag. It was obvious that most of Reformierakon's votes were still incoming. The only question was the margin of victory. Also, the outcry of election theft and fraud was also so foreseeable. The right-wing simpletons really sing the same tunes.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.